Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Madam, will start? Hello?
Sir, sir, the class is on.
Annapurna madam?
Sir,
Hello? Shall I start?
yes, sir, yes, sir.
My PPT is visible to you. Hello?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
But you are not perfectly audible. I don't know. Okay. So now it is scrolling. Just check up whether it is scrolling or not. Then I will start. Is it scrolling? Hello?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. Dear friends, today we are going to take we can discuss the details about the invoicing and the different types of return required to be filed, waybill, and how to generate the waybill, how to file the returns, and prior to that, how to prepare the invoicing through the portal. All the particular subject we will be going to discuss within 2 days, two classes today and Monday. Today I will take up with the classes related to the tax invoice and how to generate the tax invoice in the e-portal, and what are the contents of the tax invoice, and what is the mechanism of a payment of GST, and how to make the payment in the portal. So prior to that, as last time I discussed, because the portal is the transaction based portal, we cannot use anybody's GSTN registration to enter into the portal to go into deep to find out to show you practically. But I will show you the manuals, and I will also show you the videos related to the subject. But prior to that, you should have basic background knowledge about the related subject, particularly tax invoices and generation of invoice, how to generate, and the payment mechanism. Generally, what are the methods adopted for the payment of the GST from the credit ledger, from the cash ledger. All these things I will take 20-25 minutes. Then I will go for the detailed discussion by using the GSTN portal. And there is a separate portal as a link to the GSTN portal, that is the e-invoicing portal, and there is also another portal, waybill portal, but it is linked to the GSTN portal. So that will use and as far as practicable, whatever possible, that I can show to you. Friends, you see, as we discussed in the last class, after going forward with the registration, so we have completely discussed about details on the registration, and the maximum videos I have used last time to give a clear picture about the registration, the process of registration, composition dealers, unregistered dealers, and summation of different informations, and geocoding, how to locate the geocoding, authorized signatory, and your the principal place of business, other place of business, all the details we have discussed. The second point is we have to go forward with the issue of the tax invoice. Prior to that, I have already told you, as a registered person or as a registered person, you are required to pay your taxes generally under the forward charge. Actually, first is forward charge, where the supplier of goods or services, or goods and services, while supplying the goods or services or both, has to raise a tax invoice and along with the GST, and that has to be paid by the recipient. And on receipt of the payment or against that invoice which has been generated or manually prepared, we will discuss to what extent we have to use the invoicing system, or we can use different softwares. The Tally inbuilt softwares are also available. People are developing the SAP ERP or other ERP, and they are also generating the invoice and subsequently they are uploading in the e-portal. So that we will discuss in detail. But tax invoice has to be raised by a person who is supplying the goods and collecting the GST, and that is known as your forward charge. In addition to that, there are a number of cases as already I discussed yesterday. So generally by supply of service or supply of goods, the recipient has to pay the tax, that is known as a reverse charge. So in that respect, the notification has been issued from time to time. As regards service, which is a major portion, is exceeding 23, 22, 23 items approximately. That is the different types of inward supply of goods or services by different persons. So where the supplier is not liable to pay the GST, rather the recipient has to pay the GST. There is a mechanism of on a receipt of the goods and services in a month or a weekly. Generally, you would decide what to do, either every day or weekly or in a month, whatever goods or services you received, you can prepare an inward invoice, and on basis of inward invoice you can enter it in the your return and pay the GST. So the second method is the payment of GST is the reverse charge mechanism. And when we will discuss about the GST 3B one, actually I on a return, every return cannot be possible to discuss within this short period. I will discuss you about the GST 1, GST 3B, GST 99C, what is in your syllabus, and then we will that I will discuss. So the inward invoice which has been raised will be entered in the GST 1. GST 1 is the supply of services or goods, and then sorry, that will be entered in the GST 3B as inward supply. GST 1 will contain the outward supply. So that we will discuss separately, and the manuals I can use if possible. Some short videos are there that can be used. The third method by which the GST is paid or collected by the government, that is the e-commerce operators. And as you know, the e-commerce operators means they are the intermediary. They are the having the electronics portal. That is, they are the intermediary. What they are doing, Ola. Let us take one example. The Ola is the best example. So the supplier for service is the individual car drivers or auto drivers or vehicle drivers. The recipient, you are the recipient, and you are booking a car through Ola, and the service is provided by the car driver or the car owner, and you are making the payment either to the Ola portal or you are making the payment to the driver. So now question is here the intermediary, the Ola driver, in other words known as e-commerce operators. So they are required to make the payment of the GST. So that is a separate provision is there. So these three cases, the GST is required to be paid. So when I am talking first the tax invoice, when there is a taxable supply of goods involving movement of goods, generally when there is a supply of goods, it is a movement of goods one place to other place. So either it can be treated as interstate or it can be treated as intrastate. As already in the beginning I clarified, in case of intrastate, so you have to pay the IGST, that is the IGST at the rate applicable, and out of which the 50% will go to the central government, 50% will go to the state government. So as a taxpayer, I will deposit the GST. If it is IGST, so automatically it will credit to the central government account, and central government will make the 50% of the tax whatever has been collected to the state where it is consumed. And in case of intrastate, means within the state where the buyer and seller or the supplier and receiver in the same state or same union territory, in that case, same union territory, both are situating, even if goods are moving from one place to other by crossing the border, but again re-entering it, but the buyer and the seller or the supplier receiver in the same state or same union territory, then it will be also treated as intrastate, and CGST and state GST will be collected. State GST will go to the state government, CGST will go to the central government. So this is the case where the goods has been moved from one state to other. And again, I'm telling, in case of intrastate also, intrastate also, either one state to other, one union to other union, or one state to one union or vice versa. So these are known as interstate, and in case of import of the goods, IGST will be paid. And when there is no movement of goods, then at the time of delivery, the invoice has to be raised. Invoice is the base on which the taxable value will be determined and the GST will be paid. And when there is a sales return, again the any sales return has been made, it has to be returned within 6 months. And when the return is made, the credit note has to be prepared and it will be entered in the GST as 1, the month in which the credit note is you in the account. So because you all are pursuing the intermediate, so you are very much aware. So when I supplied some goods or services, the value which has been charged is less, then the differential value, if there is more, the differential value has to be raised by way of a debit note. So a similar procedure also there in the GST laws. If if there is a excess value has been charged, but subsequently we are revising, so there is a two way of doing it. One is amendment of the invoice, or we can say we can issue the credit note. So in case of goods, the time of invoice is very important at the time of removal of goods from the supplier premises or at the time of delivery, depending upon the movement of the goods. But in case of supply of services, because there is no physical supply, because it is invisible, so in that case, within 30 days from the supply of services, that has to be invoice has to be raised. But in case of a banking company, banking or insurance, it is 45 days. So this is the time limit is there to be issued. And a continuous supply case, a similar provision also there. I am going overally, not going into more deep particularly. And a continuous supply meaning is where the supply has been taken place, and the end will be made. And in that case, at the time of each successive statement, each account is issued, but the invoice will not be issued. Invoice will be issued in the last supply has been made. This slide is very important for you. What are the contents of the tax invoice? Because these are very much required when we are going to file the return. We have to do it. Actually, once again, I'm clarifying you. You can do the manual invoicing. You can do the invoicing, entering each field of data, or if it linked to your accounting software or any sales software, or you can say warehouse, whatever is there. So automatically data can be retrieved in the software, and you just simply take it and upload by converting the JSON file. That I will show to you. So the contents of invoice is name and address of the supplier, and the HSN, actually the consecutive number, because invoice has to be numbered with the date, name and address of the recipient. That means the not buyer only, anybody can be recipient. Name and address of the recipient and the state. The state is very important because the place of supply is very important. The GST will be go to the consumption state. So if I am in West Bengal, you are in let Gujarat, and when the goods will be supplied, IGST will be collected. This IGST will be deposited with the central government account, and while filing the return 3B, 3B is the return in which you are going to make the payment. So in that case, the central government will pay 50% to the state where it is consumed. Since you are in Gujarat, the consumption has been taken place in Gujarat, it will go to the Gujarat. So state name is very important. State name is very important. HSN code has to be given, and a description of a goods or services to be given. Quantity of the will be given. Taxable value has to be given. Taxable value of supply, in that case, you mention the tax rate, at what rate tax has been charged, whether it is 5% or 12% or 18% or 28%, or a special rate in case of gold, silver, platinum, or in case of real estate project. So where the tax rates are less, and the address of delivery has to be specified. Tax payable on reverse charge, whether it is forward charge or it is reverse charge. Already I told, in case of reverse charge, the supplier will not collect the tax, and only the recipient will collect the tax. So GST will not be forming part of the tax invoice. The signature of the supplier. So generally now the signature has to be made as per the invoice issued as per the Information Technology Act, and the QR code has to be there to control purpose. Already I told invoice reporting the invoice reference number. IRN is the invoice reference number. So that's why the QR code is to be found in the all the invoices. And manner of issuing that is the number will not go for this detailed discussion. And you know that initially the e-invoicing system was not introduced. The taxpayer is required to issue the invoice maybe manually in the Excel format, or in case of small dealers, small suppliers. But in case of big dealers, big suppliers, or the suppliers, or the if the supplier is a registered person maintaining the books of accounts and adopting different softwares, so generally they used to generate the invoice in the software itself. And also accordingly, the requirement of GSTR 1 or GSTR 3B, the format in which it has to be reported, is also extracted from there and uploaded with the GSTN portal. This was initially used. You know that you might have seen in the newspapers many scam has been occurred. People have created, last time I was telling to you, taking fake registration and making fake transactions and availing the ITC. So to check the ITC, so it was decided to go for the e-invoicing. So initially invoicing was not mandatory, and the threshold limit is different day by day. The threshold limit has come down 500 crores to now 100 crores, and again for 10 crores they have to report the invoice reporting from 1st April 2025 in the portal within 30 days. So these provisions has been there in the portal. We will go and see. And when I'm talking about the e-invoicing, that means there is a e-invoicing portal itself in the link to the GSTN portal. I will show you, and there you can directly go for the e-invoicing, raising the invoice, or you can download the e-invoicing file. Actually, it in the Excel format is there. You can subsequently, after filling, validate it and make the upload it by converting it may be in the JSON format or other format that we will discuss in detail, and go forward for the purpose. So now question is, all registered persons, business person, business associate with an aggregate turnover based on pan India basis greater than 10 crores, and in any preceding financial year from 2017-18 onwards required to issue an invoice. And this e-invoice having advantages. Actually already you know that a big firm or big company or big dealer having number of invoices, it was very difficult on their part to enter manually or to do it. So that's why it is auto reporting invoice into GST return. So you will generate prepare a statement by manually, then you have to go to the return format again put it. So that's why now what will happen, if you generate in the e-invoicing portal, so automatically when you are going to file the return, the data will be extracted. So that is auto reporting invoice into the GSTN return. Auto generation of EEO bills subsequently we will discuss. No goods will move from one place to other without any EOI bill. The reason is EOI bill will track the movement of goods from one state to one supply, one place of supply to the recipient place, and it will not be if there is a check system is there in the way, and one can find out whether it is a the tax invoice is accompanied with the EOI bill. Now the EOI bill, the tax invoice and EOI bill is linked with each other. That also we will discuss. Substantial reduction in transportation of the error, early payment, cost reduction, improvement of efficiency, reduction of tax evasion, that is actually only intent, and it will eliminate the fake invoices. Now situation where one can go for the issue of the invoice. So when there is a supply of goods or services, B2B, B2 means business to business. The recipient is a registered person, you are a supplier registered person. So e-invoice is mandatory. Export case, notified persons, in the export case it is mandatory. B2C supplied by notified person, only notified. B2C, all cases not compulsory, but notified person is compulsory. And input shall be distributor. And similarly, when the goods has been sold under reverse charge mechanism, the 9394 and 94, these two cases, e-invoicing is mandatory. And import case, it is mandatory. Import is subject to the IGST. and no requirement of issue of invoice in different copies because it is plenty available, one can use it. Exemptions are available to different departments, especially economic zone, insurance, banking company, GTA service supplier, just you can go through. So that is also they are not required to issue the invoicing system. So what is the workflow? We will practically see how it is working, but prior to that have some knowledge that it will be done in the portal. So the taxpayer, what the taxpayer will do, they will create a GST invoice on their own accounting billing ERP system as per the pre-invoice scheme. So already I told you, generally practically going to the manually do it is very cumbersome. That's why you can do in your accounting billing or ERP system. Generally, that a X company having maybe 20,000 invoices can be raised in a month, maybe 10,000, maybe 5,000, later even also 1,000. But practically doing it is very difficult. That's why people are developing the ERP system or their accounting system or a billing system in the accounting package, and they can generate, they can make a pre-invoice schema. Actually, it is available. Pre-invoice schema means an Excel format is available. You can download, put up it, then subsequently you can go for the uploading of the it. Actually, it became very easy now also. People are, those who are doing it in the software itself, they are doing in the same schema. That is GSTN INB 01, and the taxpayer upload the invoice schema in the invoice registration portal, and invoice registration portal generate the invoice reference number, and the supplier share the invoice with the recipient along with the QR code. QR code is have the proof that genuinely it has been issued, and IRP invoice registration portal returns e-invoice to the supplier, and IRP digitally sign the invoice and use the code. This is the procedure generally adopted, and when I am talking about the e-invoice system has been generated, the e-way bill populating related part of the, so invoice itself directly will be go and auto populated in the e-way bill system. So the GST system in one side, the other system is e-way bill system. E-way bill actually there is a separate portal also there. It is there. We will discuss in detail. Have some idea about theory idea, then we will go for the very practicality. Auto populate data into GSTR1. GSTR1 is the we will see there are different types of forms has been used for filing the return. GSTR1 is the outer supply. GSTR3B is the payment of tax of the outer supply. There is one GSTR1A also has been introduced, which is used for the amendment of any supply made or any wrongly reported in the GSTR1 in between date of filing of the GSTR1 to the prior to the date of filing of GSTR3B. We will discuss that. So auto populated data into GSTR2A. 2A is a 2A, now it is 2B also. So 2A, 2B is the whatever GST as a supplier I deposited. So it will be auto populated in your GST portal in the GST in the form of GST2A, that is the ITC. So whatever GST I paid, it is the ITC available to you. How one can see that you are eligible for the ITC. Now whatever the moment I deposited the tax, there is a requirement under section 16 actually, input tax credit, there is requirement. The supplier must have paid the GST, and so that you can take the ITC. This is the one provision is there. So that's why the moment I as a supplier file the return, and automatically the GST what I deposited will be reflected in your GST2A format. And GST2A format, now it is GST2B, 2A and 2B both are there. 2A is the input tax is auto populated, and it can be, it is a changed one. Actually, if I subsequently after 2 months later I will change my return, then automatically 2A will be changed, and I made a wrong reporting. Later it is appeared in your 2A, but after 1 month I will made it correction, then automatically your 2A will be vanished or will take out. So but 2B is the there is a particular time and there is no changes has been taken place. So that's why to have a correct ITC availment, government introduced the 2B only recently last year, so that no ITs will be fake ITs will be used, or the people cannot go for having the ITC, even if in case where the supplier has not paid the money. So that's why it is there. E-waybill system, the parameters, transporter ID, vehicle number reported in the invoice schema facilitate the generation of e-waybill. We'll go to discuss in detail for the purpose. So there is also a portal where you can cancel the reported invoice. There is also amendment of invoice can be taken place in invoicing registration portal. That is also possible. You just see how to revise the your invoice also, effective date of registration, and make the revision. Suppose in between, suppose I exceeded my threshold limit, and subsequently I will take registration. Date of registration will take some time. So in between, I can stop my business. I can go for the issue of the invoice. So that invoice again you can go for revise it by putting the your number. Then bill of supply will be issued by the person who are not paying the tax. Actually, already I told you the number of services and goods where the GST has been paid by the recipient. Take an example. I am working as an advocate. So as per the notification 13 under section 9(3) of the CGST Act, in case of advocates, the recipient will pay the GST. So when we are raising our bill, we are raising our bill with the bill of supply. That is known as bill of supply. So bill of supply means it is not a tax invoice. Tax invoice where the GST has been charged as a forward charge, but in case of bill of supply, the GST has not been charged. In addition to, there is a receipt voucher is there that we are not going to discuss. Simple, just remember, if any advances has been received by the supplier has to issue a receipt voucher, and the tax has to be paid at the rate, if it is known to you, if not known, at the rate of 18%. So this is a tax paid on advances only received against the supply which to be undertaken in future of the services. But in case of goods, there is no payment of tax on advances received. So if you refund suppose you received the advance, paid the taxes, there is a table of reporting the 3B. Will show you, GST 1A, and other returns I will show you. So in that case, subsequently it could not be taken place. You are refunding, then you have to issue a refund voucher. And there is a payment voucher. If he invoice and the payment vouchers to be issued by the recipient of supply liable to pay tax on the reverse charge. So reverse charge case, they will issue a payment voucher. And this is the invoice already I told you. In case of reverse charge mechanism, the inward invoice has to be issued by the recipient. The reason of issue of the generally one question will come to your mind, why the supplier has to issue the tax invoice, why the recipient will issue the inward tax invoice in case of inward tax invoice in case of reverse charge. The reason is invoice is a document based upon which ITs will be availed. So if I am receiving some inward supply, then I am eligible for ITC, inward supply of goods, services, or both, then I am eligible. In case of forward charge, as a forward charge, let you are the supplier and send the goods to me. So you are collecting GST depositing by filing return. It is auto-populated in my GST 2 and 2B. So I am availing the ITC. But in case of inward service, if I receive the goods and services, and I am liable to pay the goods and services, then how I will take the ITC? What document has to be proved? So that's why I will issue an inward invoice, and on that basis, when I file the return, it will be auto-populated in the GST 2 and 2B, and accordingly I can avail the ITC. So that's why that mechanism is there. Credit note already I told you has to be issued. Debit note has to be issued. Credit note will be issued where there is a excess charge in the invoice, or there is a return of goods. So that is the debit note, credit note. Debit note, credit note actually is not generated in the e-invoicing system, but manually you can put up it, or by using software in your return. And debit note will be issued when the differential price has to be charged. So either you undercharged in your previous invoice, now you have to. And again, I'm telling, if the time period is there, you can amend the invoice without going to the debit note. And the payment mechanism, will just see it. I will take 5 minutes, then we will go forward to the portal. So in that payment mechanism, when you are going to file your GST 3B, so all the inward invoices, whatever tax payable, outward, as a outward supply, whatever tax you collected, and in case of advance of advance supply, any amount received against the advance supply of services, any adjustment of a debit note or credit note, so the net amount will be payable to the government. So this amount will be paid. In case of CGST, it will go to the central government. In case of SGST, it will go to the state government or union territory. In case of IGST, it will go to the central government. And in case of TDS, TCS, there is two provisions are there where you are collecting as a tax at source. So while making payment to your supplier exceeding 2.5 lakhs, then you have to make the payment. And along with that, if interest, penalty, or any fee you are liable to pay, all the payments has to be made while you are filing the return. These payments has to be made. Actually, you are required to maintain three ledgers. Very simple way, quickly I'm going to tell you. Three ledgers you are maintaining. One is your cash ledger in the portal. One is your credit ledger, and again, when I'm talking about cash ledger, so you have four cash ledgers, one cash ledger for the CGST, one cash ledger for the state GST, one cash ledger for the IGST, one cash ledger for the cess, compensation cess. Similarly, whatever input tax you are eligible, you have also four electronic cash ledgers, and that is known as, electronic credit ledgers. That is the CGST credit ledger, state GST credit ledger, IGST credit ledger, and your cess credit ledger. So what I will do first, I will transfer money, or I will make the payment to the cash ledger first. So it is not directly making the payment to the government. So first you will transfer the money from your bank account, and the bank account when you are transferring, so the mechanism very flexible. You can use your debit card, you can use your credit card, you use your RTGS, NEFT, or UPI system, or directly tell your bank to make the payment. So that by creation of a challan, I will show video how to create the challan. So in that case, the money will first go to the credit ledger. So when you are going to file the return, you utilize the credit ledger and cash ledger for making the different payments. So either you utilize only cash ledger, for payment of CGST, you utilize the CGST cash ledger, or you can utilize the CGST credit ledger, or you can utilize money from the both, depending upon your requirement. So that provisions are there in the portal which you can do it. So these things we will not go for further discussion. So and these are the mechanism is required, and what we are going to discuss today also. But prior to that, just I will tell that return filing is possible today. We will discuss, otherwise next class we will continue. And there is a GSTR 1 and 1A. 1 is the outward supply, has to be reported in the format. So what is the format of GSTR 1? I will show you. GSTR 1 is the subsequently introduced. So it is the anything you reported. Actually, GSTR 1 has to be reported by 10th of the next month. Let you take last month. This is the month. Let you take July has been completed. So you have to report it by 10th of the August. And if any changes wrongly you reported, or something not taken into account in the outward supply in the GSTR 1, then you can file a 1A, which is known as amendment, and that has to be filed before the filing due date of filing of the GSTR 3B. And 2A, 2B, already I told you, these are not returns actually. These are the auto population of the GST paid by your supplier in your account, so that you can take the ITC. GST 3B is the monthly return, that is summary return we can say, where the outer supply, inward supply, advances, debit notes, credit notes, TDS, TCS, everything has been incorporated, and the tax has to be paid through while filing this return. The due date of filing is the 20th, and tax to be paid on 21st. And the four return composition dealer, five return is non-resident, six return is the input service, seven return is the TDS, eight is the TCS, nine is the annual return. We will discuss nine in detail. 9A is the annual return for composite taxpayer. 9B is the annual statement of TCS for the e-commerce operator. But 9 and 9C will discuss. 9C is even a reconciliation statement has to be filed annually. 9A, B, C, 9, these are to be filed annually, and register 10 or final return to be filed. So in case of cancellation, etc. So these are the returns has been used. So with this background, we will switch over to the our discussion in the GSTN portal, and let us first I will go to the let I will first go to the GSTN. Your registration let you take. I will go. This is not registration. This is your GSTN portal. But the invoicing system is not there. Actually, when we are going to services.gst.gov.in, that is what I was showing you last class, there you will not file the e-invoicing. So where you will get the invoicing? Now there is a e-invoicing portal. So if you simple Google search, if you not remember the portal, you can simply go to the e-invoice portal of GST invoice portal. So automatically it will navigate to the e-invoice portal. So I am showing you how the e-invoice portal is looks like. Madam, can you just help me confirm that e-invoicing portal that is shown to you, that is visible? Hello? Hello? Madam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is actually the e-invoicing portal.
No, sir. You just shared the MS Team screen.
Okay. Okay. Let once again.
Yeah, sir. It's a portal only now. Okay. Actually, you share your screen basically. It's fine.
Name. I have just shown the screen. Then I'll move it.
Actually,
Now,
sir, you share your entire screen. Like now you are in MS Team, so I can see the MS Team.
only.
If you go to
Okay.
the portal, then I can see the portal. Is
No,
that
I am
only?
just showing the portal now. It is so portal is shown.
No, sir. It's MS Team. If
Okay,
you go to
okay,
the
okay,
portal, then yes, sir. It's
okay.
portal now.
Let us see. Just I am once again connecting. So is it a portal now? The portal is it portal is showing now, madam.
Actually, sir, right now you are in the MS Team window. So me and the students can see the window, MS Team window. If actually you have shared your whole screen, so like you can proceed. No issue.
That's what I'm telling you. That's only I'm showing the whole screen only.
Yes, sir, no issue. You can
Okay.
proceed.
Okay, so that means just in the off you see e-invoice 1.gst.gov.in.
Sir, right now
Hmm?
you shared only MS Team screen, I guess.
Oh, oh.
If you share your complete screen, then like whatever window you are
Actually,
opening,
I have shown it. Let us see the problem. Actually, this is the MS Team portal. Okay, I attached the file actually, the invoice file I attached. Okay, so that's why it is showing.
It's okay.
Is it showing or
Ah.
not showing? Just see
So please visit
IRP.
the app portal, like open the Google Chrome tab, Chrome tab, whatever you
I
are
actually
using.
open the Google Doc. Actually, I open the Google Doc. Okay,
Okay.
ठीक है. Just I open the Google Doc. Let's stop sharing.
Okay.
But actually, I don't know. E-invoicing system Google Doc I open. Actually, it is attached.
But I can only see, actually, I can only see the MS Team tab, like it's MS Teams window. Yeah, I see invoice nice now, so you can continue.
Just you see, I'm putting the cursor. It is showing you registration.
Yes, yes, it's showing.
Okay, okay. So actually, this is the e-invoicing portal. Students can see it. There is a e-invoicing portal. इसमें what is there? That is your rules are there. Notification is there. So if anybody want to
Right now again MS Teams open.
Oh, sharing is paused actually. ठीक है, stop sharing. It is paused. There is maybe why it is coming like this. I don't know. Okay, ठीक है. Just I am closing all the portal.
Okay.
That is only one I am opening. Let us see it. Actually, these bulky things it will not be available in many places. That is the actually. I'm going to the Google search. Let me take first. Madam, now I have attached. Not
No, sir,
showing.
it's still MS Teams. Yeah, it's like the portal.
Just one.
Oh God.
I think it is portal now showing, na?
Let's wait for some time. Like,
You are showing a window. It is showing.
no, sir, it's MS Teams only.
Problem हो गया.
Should I call the IT?
Just call because I think
Oh, okay.
happiness or something because it is.
Okay, fine. So I'm calling
Acha,
her.
do one thing. Let meantime you call. I am also presenting another.
Okay, fine, sir.
Let us see it.
Yes, sir, the portal is visible now.
Portal visual, na?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's on. I'm calling the IT, no issue.
I think it's not compatible. That's why it's showing perhaps. टाइम हो जाता है वही प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है. Hello, madam. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 dear students, can anybody will just give the message? Is it showing? The video clips are showing. Anybody? Hello, hello, hello,
The
hello,
e-invoice system. As per the GST Council direction, National Informatic. Welcome to the
hello, hello. Just see whether it is coming now. This video clip. I connected another video clip. So why it is not showing? You are from IT. Just I'm giving any days. Just okay, okay. Just hello. It is 1357 1357 000 905. Okay. Just I have given actually the pause, it is pausing actually. Just this is actually the portal. Okay, I will mute it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, ठीक है.
Taxpayers of GST to the e-invoice system.
Yes, I am muting it. So I am continuing. I just confirm me once again. It is showing and the sound is coming. Just have a.
Welcome to the taxpayers of GST.
So sound is coming. Hello. 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 Okay. Let I am continue. Friends, will go for the because I was connecting directly to the portals. There is some issue, but I can go for forward with a few clips of videos where all the details can be available. Just I'm starting the first
To the
video.
e-invoice system.
Just I'm beginning it.
As per the Welcome to the taxpayers of GST to the e-invoice system. As per the GST Council direction, National Informatics Center, NIC, has built the e-invoice system as per the latest e-invoice, IRN, schema. This system has been enabled for the taxpayers with PAN-based turnover more than 500 crore during financial year 2019-20. The taxpayer can also see the features like rules, notifications, help, manuals, FAQs, etc. on the e-invoice portal. The taxpayer can come to know his eligibility for generation of IRN by going to the e-invoice portal and selecting e-invoice status of taxpayer under search option. On entry of the GSTN, the system will indicate whether this GSTN is enabled or notified for the IRN generation. The taxpayer can also know the list of registered GSPs, GST Suvidha providers, who have enrolled to provide the e-invoice services to the taxpayers. This option is available as GST Suvidha providers, GSP, under search option. There is a facility to log into the e-invoice system. Single sign-on system has been used to log into the e-waybill and e-invoice systems. That is, if the taxpayer has the username and password created on the e-waybill system, then same can be used to log into this system. If the taxpayer has not registered in the e-waybill system, he can use the registration facility by selecting registration. Now, enter your GST in and create username and password in the e-invoice system. Now, log in into the e-invoice system with your credentials. the notified taxpayers can generate the IRN for the supplies/sales. That is, the IRN has to be generated for the documents of invoices, debit notes and credit notes for the intrastate, interstate and export transactions. The taxpayer has to upload the complete invoice details, prepared manually or through internal ERP/accounting system, as per the format, and after due validations of the data, the system returns the IRN with the signed invoice and QR code back to the taxpayer. The IRN, ACK date and QR code has to be printed by the taxpayer on the invoice being issued to the buyer. It may be noted that the IRN can be generated by the supplier only and not by buyer or transporter. The taxpayer can generate the IRN by two methods. One, by using bulk IRN generation using tools, and other is through e-invoice API integration methods. Please check on the video IRN generation using bulk tools for detailed understanding. The API integration helps the taxpayers to integrate their IT system with the APIs of e-invoice system, so that the IRNs can be generated directly without any manual intervention. Now we will see the various modes of interfacing with APIs. GSP's integration. In this, the taxpayer can integrate APIs through registered GSPs. The list of registered GSP can be found in the portal. Direct integration. In this, the APIs can be integrated directly from taxpayer's system. Integration through sister concern GSTN. In this, APIs can be integrated using system-to-system integration through the sister company of the taxpayer, which is already integrated with API and they share a common PAN. Lastly, if your GSTN is already integrated with e-Waybill APIs, you can continue using the same credentials for e-invoice also. The process of API integration to e-invoice system has been explained in detail in the video process for API registration. Please see this video to understand the complete process. There are other features also, such as cancel IRN, print IRN and generate EWB using IRN in the e-invoice system. The user management option can be used to create sub-users for your GSTN in the e-invoice system. The MIS reports will help you in downloading the IRNs generated by you. We hope you have understood the e-invoice system. Now you can proceed to register and log into e-invoice system.
Then the second page, just I am continuing, that also you can
The
go through.
e-invoice system provides a provision of an offline method to generate the multiple invoice reference number in Onigo by the taxpayers. This tool will allow us to enter the request for IRN in Excel file and allow to validate and convert into JSON file. You can download the
Friends, last time I was telling you there is a software is available where one Excel file you can download, and that Excel file subsequently, after filling up or importing the data, you can update it, and then it will be converted to the JSON file. I will show in the end the Excel file also and how to download here, that you can see, but you continue with this video.
bulk IRN generation tools from the e-invoice portal by navigating to the Help, Tools and select Bulk Generation Tools option. The first section shows e-invoice attributes, which need to be included in the JSON. This sheet explains their description, JSON element, to which the attributes are mapped, the data type, and length. This will help you in preparing the JSON by yourself directly from your computerized system. The second section shows tools available for preparing the JSON. There are 4 different bulk preparation tools, as Format A, Format B, Format C, and Format D. These formats have been designed as per the requirements of different classes of taxpayers and transactions. Format A. This format consists of a single worksheet, in which invoice and items details are entered to prepare JSON file to upload the large number of e-invoices by a single upload to the ERP. Businesses having 1 or 2 items in the invoice can use this format. Format B. This format consists of two worksheets, in which invoice and items details can be entered separately. This format is advisable for the businesses having many items in the invoice. Format C. This format consists of 5 worksheets, in which invoice details, items details, payment details, reference details, and additional details are entered separately. Format D. This format consists of a single worksheet, in which invoice details, items details, payment details, reference details, and additional details are entered in the same worksheets. There are different worksheets in bulk generation tool. Profile sheet. This is the sheet where you configure your Excel tool. The first part contains seller details such as GSTIN, trade name, place, PIN code, state, etc. Please note that the details entered here will be populated under seller GSTIN in the JSON. As there are many columns in the invoice sheet and all may not be required, except the mandatory. The second part helps you to have only the required columns of the invoice based on the configuration. For example, if you do not have reverse charges in any of your invoices, you may select No. So that column will not be shown in the worksheet. Similarly, if you don't have e-commerce transactions, then you may select No. This way the Excel tool will show only the required columns. Now you will see how to make entries in Format A, bulk tool, validate it, create the JSON and upload to the e-invoice website. To begin, you have to click on the e-invoice tab and have to select the supply type code. From the drop-down as B2B transaction, says with payment, or says without payment, or export with payment, or export without payment, or deemed export, select the reverse charges as yes or no from the drop-down as per the transaction. In the case of an e-commerce transaction, enter the e-commerce operator GSTIN. In the document details, select the document type from the drop-down as invoice, or credit note, or debit note, as per the document in hand, and have to enter the document number and document date. Document number should not start with 0, and you should ensure that the unique invoice number is generated for the financial year for each invoice. In buyer details, enter buyer GSTIN, legal name of the business, and select the state from the drop-down list under buyer POS, which indicates place of supply of goods. In the case of export, place of supply should be other countries. Next, dispatch details. These are the details from where the dispatch of good will be done. If dispatch details are provided, then the transaction is considered as bill from dispatch from. You can enter the dispatch details like name, address, PIN code and state, if dispatch details are different from the supplier registered details. Next, shipping details. These are the details to where the goods will be delivered. If shipping details are provided, then the transaction is considered as bill to ship to. You can enter the shipping details like shipping GSTIN, name, address, PIN code, and state, if shipping details are different from the buyer registered details. Next, under product details, we have to enter the consignment details, such as serial number. It must be unique for an invoice. If your invoice is dealing with services, then you can select yes under a service column. Then enter HSN code. Each item needs to have valid HSN code with at least 4 digits. Quantity, unit price, and gross amount, which is quantity multiplied with the unit price. Then you will enter discount on the item if any, and then taxable value, which is gross amount of item minus discount. Now you will select the GST rates from the drop-down list. Only the allowed tax rates will be accepted. In case of intrastate transaction, you need to enter SGST and CGST, and in case of interstate transaction, the IGST has to be entered. The cess and cess-add volume. Enter the other charges and item total, which is sum of taxable value and other charges. You can enter the batch details of items under batch details column. In the next section, value details is total of all the items, and it should be the same for all items of the same invoice. If there is any difference in the amount, then you can enter under round off. Up to 10 rupees, and then the total invoice value would be displayed. If in transaction type, export is selected, then you can enter details under export details column. If you also want to create e-waybill for the e-invoice you are generating, then you have to enter the trans ID, then part A of e-waybill will be generated. If you enter the vehicle number, then part B will be generated. After entering the requests for e-invoice in the sheet, you have to validate for the correctness of the data format using the Validate button. If there are any errors while validating, then the list of errors can be seen in the error list column. After successfully validating the data, you will click on Prepare JSON button to generate the JSON file. After successfully generating the JSON file, log in to the e-invoice portal and select Bulk Upload option under e-invoice in menu. On doing so, one will see a screen which allows you to upload the concerned JSON file. Click Choose File to browse for the JSON file containing the details. And then click Upload. After processing, the system then generates the IRN for all the requests one by one and shows the result in tabular form. Otherwise, the system will show error details. You can download the table details into your system by clicking the Download Excel option. For further use and action, here, you also have the option to download the signed JSON.
So thank you. The third one we will see some more 3 videos are there. Just you can see I am opening.
Welcome to the e-invoice API registration process. The API integration helps.
Actually, the registration is a requirement. So that's how to go forward API registration that we
the
can check.
taxpayers to integrate their IT system with the APIs of e-invoice system, so that the IRNs can be generated directly without any manual intervention. Now we will see the various modes of interfacing with APIs. GSP's integration. In this, the taxpayer can integrate APIs through registered GSPs. The list of registered GSP can be found in the portal. Direct integration. In this, the APIs can be integrated directly from taxpayer's system. Integration through sister concern GST. In this, APIs can be integrated using system-to-system integration through the sister company of the taxpayer which is already integrated with API and they share a common PAN. Lastly, if your GST is already integrated with e-waybill APIs, you can continue using the same credentials for e-invoice also. Understand the e-invoice APIs. Visit the website at https://ingwaypsandbox.nic.in. Here, you will get the information on the API schemas and URLs. You can also do the testing of API integration on the sandbox system. Once you have successfully tested the APIs on Sandbox, you can integrate with the production APIs. Now let us see the process involved in API integration under each mode. If you have selected direct integration and not registered previously, then select the option IP whitelisting under API registration. Enter the production IPs that needs to be whitelisted and submit. Upload the required documents and submit your application. The network team will scrutinize and whitelist the IP addresses. Next, select Create API User and enter your credentials. On successful registration, you will receive client ID and client secret to the registered mobile number. You can use these credentials and generate token and IRN. If you wish to do API integration using GSP, then you need to create API user by selecting the GSP. If you have already registered with a GSP for eWaybill API and like to continue with same GSP for eInvoice also, then there is no need to register for GSP again. Same credentials will work for eInvoice. In case you have not registered with any GSP earlier, then select Create API User. Now, select the option through GSP. A list of all GSP are displayed. Select the GSP being used for generation of IRN and DWB. Next, create API user by entering username and password and preserve them with you. Use these credentials and generate the token and request for the IRN. If your sister GST in has already registered for API integration in eWaybill or eInvoice, then you can interface API using their cliented credentials. Select the API registration and select Create API User. The system will show the GST-ins of your sister concerns who have already interfaced with API. You may contact and get the client ID and client secret. Now, enter the client ID, client secret, username and password and register for API. Once you are ready with all the credentials, you can configure the production URLs of eInvoice APIs and start generating the OT token and IRNs.
Welcome to the Audiovisual Knowledge Bank on e-invoicing system of National Informatics Center, the first IRP. As per the decision of GST.
This is a consolidated presentation. As I understand, even if you will see the videos, but very difficult sometimes to remember unless you see it 2-3 times. So this video just I am placing you to have more knowledge, and you can revisit also if anything already we discussed. This will take around 10 to 15 minutes maximum. Then we can go, and if you require also after 6 p.m. also sometime you can stay, so that the rest will be completed, because it will become very heavy in the next classes to complete.
Council, registration of invoices is going to be mandatory for businesses with turnover above certain limits in the previous financial year. NIC as IRP has set up the ecosystem where the eligible taxpayers will be able to register the invoice, cancel the invoice, generate eWaybill while registering the invoice, generate eWaybill based on the invoice reference number, etc. These operations can be carried out through one of many modes, such as through bulk registration using offline tool, API integration, mobile application, etc. In this video, we will introduce how the ERPs and the financial accounting systems can be integrated with NIC IRP through APIs. We will cover the concepts, the benefits of integrating the two systems using APIs, the process of registration for accessing and testing the APIs on the sandbox environment, API documentation, etc. The website einv-apisandbox.nic.in provides all the essential information a developer needs to integrate the e-invoicing operations exposed by NIC IRP through APIs with their respective ERPs and financial accounting systems. The home page is accessible from anywhere without any login and provides various information. Let us visit the page Introduction. In this page, one can see the purpose of this portal, which includes the registration by eligible taxpayer to test the APIs in the sandbox environment, the technical documentation on each of the API that is exposed for consumption, and a web-based test environment where one can understand the details of the steps involved in consuming the APIs. This tool will help the developer to understand the concepts and steps before actually starting to write the code to implement with their application. Now let us see the API overview. The APIs that receive the data for addition or updation use the HTTP POST method, and those which provide data based on certain inputs use GET method. The APIs can be accessed only after a successful authentication. The data that is exchanged between the two systems is always encrypted, and RESTful APIs are exposed over SSL. The eligible API user has to complete a self-registration process using which the required credentials such as client ID, client secret, user ID, and password can be obtained. Using these credentials, one has to call the authentication API to get authenticated with the NIC's e-invoicing API system. On successful authentication, an authentication token and session encryption key SEK will be generated by the system and provided to the user. These two will be valid for 1 hour on the sandbox environment and for 6 hours in the production environment. The subsequent calls to the other APIs will be trusted based on the auth token passed as part of the request header, and the request and response payloads would be encrypted using the SEK. Even if the auth API is called, while the previously obtained auth token is still valid, the same auth token and SEK would be returned and no new set is generated. For more details on the authentication process, please refer to the authentication API documentation, and on encryption and decryption of the payload may refer to the sample code provided and the other API documentation. There are multiple benefits of integrating the e-invoicing process with the existing ERP or financial accounting system. This will seamlessly integrate the two systems. Same data need not be entered into two systems. This will eliminate the data entry mistakes. This integration involves the e-way bill generation process as well. Some of the benefits are listed here, but there can be many more as per appropriate implementation strategies. There are other information provided through this website, like the onboarding process, where it is provided how to get the access to the production environment after completing the testing on sandbox environment, how to create the credentials for accessing the APIs on the production environment as well as on the sandbox environment, the best practices for integrating the ERPs and the financial systems with the e-invoice system, and answers to frequently asked questions are available under the facts page, and we have release notes where the changes that have taken place since the earlier versions are listed for the benefit of the developers of API integration. Let us come back to the home page and explore what all information is directly available from the home page itself. The main section in the home page provides the API documentation for already available APIs in the e-invoicing API system. So the first and foremost is the authentication API, which is very important because unless we get authenticated with the e-invoicing system, we will not be able to use the other APIs. So once we have successfully authenticated, we should be able to generate the IRNs using the generate IRN API. Then we can cancel the IRNs using the cancel IRN API. We can get the details of already registered invoices using the get e-invoice details API. We will be able to generate e-way bills by referring to the IRN number by using the generate e-way bill by IRN API. And there is a provision to get the GSTIN details by passing the GSTIN using the get GSTIN details API. We also have a announcement section in the home page, which will show the announcements that have been already made by the e-invoicing development team for the benefit of the application developers. And there are some resources provided like how the IRN is generated and the mapping of the attributes in the JSON schema as well as the schema published by the GSTN, and some master lists like the country master, currency master, port master, state master, etc. are provided, and some sample codes in Java and C# are provided for the benefit of the developers to refer to and develop the application in their own preferred programming language. Let us see the API documentation of some of the APIs. Let us first have a look at the authentication API. The overview section shows the purpose of the API, how the requests and the responses are exchanged between the taxpayer system and the IRP system are shown graphically. How to call the APIs is shown. The attributes to be sent in the request header are shown. The attributes of the request JSON that is sent as part of the payload is shown. Here, the password and the app key are encrypted using the public key provided by the IRP. The app key is a random 32-byte array generated by the client for every auth API call. This will be used to encrypt the session encryption key SEK that is sent by the IRP in the response using the symmetric algorithm. The response payload details are provided for successful as well as unsuccessful API calls. The SEK in the response, as mentioned earlier, is encrypted using the app key which is generated by the client application. So on receipt of this encrypted SEK, the client application has to decrypt the SEK and keep it for further encryption of the payload in subsequent APIs. The sample JSON for the request payload and the sample JSON of the response payload are shown over here, and the JSON response in case of error is shown over here, and frequently asked questions on this API are put at the bottom. Now let us see the generation IRN API documentation. This API is for registering the invoice or generation of the invoice reference number IRN. The image shows how the request header, request payload, and the response payload are exchanged between the taxpayer system and the IRP system. The request header attributes are explained. Auth token is obtained after a successful authentication call and is valid for 1 hour on sandbox and 6 hours on the production environment. Request payload contains a JSON with an attribute by name data. The value of this data attribute is the encrypted generate IRN JSON. The response JSON attributes are explained in case of success as well as failure. The sample request payload in the form of JSON is shown. The request payload as encrypted is shown over here, and below that in the plain text form is being shown. The encrypted response payload is shown in the next box. Below that is the payload after decrypting using the SEK with symmetric algorithm. The decrypted JSON contains the IRN details, signed invoice, and signed QR code. Then the sample JSON in case of unsuccessful call is shown. The schema of the request JSON payload is shown over here. Then comes the validation section. Here, the validations the API consumer has to consider while developing the consuming application. Similar approach is followed in other APIs that use the HTTP post method, such as cancel IRN, generate e-waybill using IRN, etc. Only the difference would be in the request and response JSON payloads and the respective URL. Let us see the get e-invoice detail API that uses HTTP GET method. The IRN for which the details are required needs to be passed as a value to IRN attribute as shown in the API URL. The request header would contain the attributes as in the case of POST APIs. The response JSON is encrypted using the SEK. On decrypting the encrypted payload, the JSON in plain text will be as shown. The decrypted JSON contains the acknowledgement number, acknowledgement date, IRN number, signed invoice, and signed QR code. Similar approach is followed in other GET APIs. The endpoint, the parameters passed in the URL, the response payload differ. The eligible taxpayers or the GSPs can register to get the credentials for testing the APIs in the sandbox. So the taxpayers can enter the GSTIN, then automatically it will show the trade name. Then the user is supposed to enter the mobile number and email address which are registered with GSTN, and then enter the CAPTCHA and click on validate button. So this will validate the registered mobile number and email against the database, and if they are correct, then the user has to click on send OTP, which will send the OTP onto the mobile number. Now the user has to enter the received OTP and then click on submit. So now the user is prompted to create the user ID and password to access the APIs. The registration process will be similar for the GSPs. Only difference would be they will be selecting the radio button GSP and entering their PAN number. A virtual GSTIN would be created using which the registration process can be completed. After the entry of user ID and password, automatically the client secret and client ID will be created by the system, and the same would be sent to the registered mobile number as an SMS. This completes the registration process.
And so this one,
One can use the credentials and go to the login page and try to log in into the system to verify whether the created credentials are working fine. And after logging into the system, they will be able to get the other details that are required for a developer to integrate their system using the APIs.
friends, this seems to be very technicality, but you can also avoid this particulars, whatever I took the some time to give some input regarding technicality, but you can ignore it. In the subsequently, I will show you one Excel file, Excel utility which is available in the portal. You can download it, and instead of interlinking with the your different accounting packages or ERP packages, you can also fill up manually. If the number of invoices are less, then validate, then you can also convert to the JSON file, then you can upload, as in the previous slides it was shown. Just I'm putting on YouTube invoice where the different invoicing issues has been discussed. After that, I will show you that particular Excel sheet. Then we will go for the GSTAR 1. And even if we are crossing the 6, if some time, but you can wait because we will complete it. Let us see it first.
Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to this webinar on two-factor authentication, and it's working on the NIC IRP portal. In this webinar, we will show you how two-factor authentication works on the NIC IRP portal, and we will show you the mode through which you can get the OTP for it. And to do that, today we will be joined by Suresh sir, who is a senior director at NIC Bangalore, and his colleague Karthik. So over to Sir and Karthik, to you for the presentation.
Good morning, sir. So today we will know what is the two-factor authentication developed by the NIC. So actually, this two-factor authentication has been implemented in e-waybill as well as invoice system.
Right.
To enhance the security for the e-waybill and invoice system, NIC has been introduced for two-factor authentication for login into the e-waybill and invoice system. Two additional for the username and password, OTP will be also authentication for this login. Now two-factor authentication is for the e-waybill and invoice system. And to get the OTP, there is a 3 types, like through SMS and Sandesh application, and NIC has been made the offline application like NIC GST Shield. These are the 3 modes, mode of OTP like SMS, Sandesh app, and NIC GST Shield app. And if you see, this SMS will be sent from the system through the register mobile number. And second part is like Sandesh application. Sandesh application is like a messaging application. So if any OTP will be sent to the register mobile number and Sandesh application also. And this application can be downloaded from the Android version as well as iOS also. And if you see the screen, this will be sent from the e-waybill system through the NIC Sandesh application. And coming to NIC GST Shield, NIC GST Shield is a mobile app provided by the e-waybill and invoice system. So the OTP can be generated by using the app. This app can be downloaded from the e-waybill and invoice portal from the link in the main menu, two-factor authentication, and install in the NIC GST Shield. And later they can download and install and register this app in the mobile, and they can register through the mobile application, register mobile number, and you should ensure that time displayed on the app should be synchronized with the e-waybill or invoice system. On opening the app, the OTP will be displayed. So you have to enter the OTP on the OTP and continue the authentication. The OTP generates and refreshing the for this 30 seconds for every 30 seconds. If you will not require internet or any dependency on the mobile network for the generating any OTP. Okay, this is the registration form for the NIC GST Shield. So they can download it from here. For the there is two types, like an Android version as well as iOS version also. And here we are showing the date and time of the system. So when the user has been opened the application, they have to check the date and time is matching or not. If the date and time is matching, they have to confirm confirm by clicking the tick mark, and coming to they have to open the application in the mobile, and they have to scan this QR code. Once this QR code is scanned, the OTP will be shown in the mobile. That OTP has to be entered and submit here. This is the steps. First, how to register the NIC GST Shield. He has to enter with the username and password and get the OTP. Once the OTP has verified successfully, it will be redirected to the home page. And clicking on scan QR code. So here already we have told that this QR code has been shown. After scanning the QR code, this OTP will be shown on the mobile application. This OTP has to enter on that web registration, and they have to submit. And coming to register, how to register for the 2FA. We have provided in the e-waybill and invoice portal in the main menu two-factor authentication. For this, they have to authenticate OTP first of all, and they have to register. And if not, they have not registered, while in login, we are showing one pop-up that registration is mandatory. So some people will be registered, and some people will be postponed for the next time, next registration. Like we have given undertaking. So for this is like undertaking like deferment. In this case, before for the deferment for the registration for the following these steps, for ticking they have to accept this condition. Like I understand the importance of the security by login and password. However, due to this some administrative challenges, I am unable to register for two-factor authentication. Yes, I want to refer the two-factor authentication after 2 months from the today. However, I take the complete responsibility of safety of my credentials. So he has to agree that, and he has to there is one OTP form, and he has to enter the reason for the deferment for the further. He has to submit for this form. This is the complete two-factor authentication registration, how the OTP has been sent to the different modes, and how to register in the e-waybill and invoice portals.
Friends, actually, one point I will tell you that you know that every invoice, whatever you have issued, whether previously it was a manual invoice, now it is e-invoice exceeding certain limit, but below certain limit, they have to go for issue of the invoice manually or by using their software. And whenever any invoice will be issued for supply of the goods, it has to be supported with the e-waybill, and e-waybill there is a portal we will discuss in the next time, next class. But every invoicing has to be linked to the invoice. And even if you government found that many of the cases the ITC has been availed by using the they are raising the invoice, issuing the invoice, waybills, etc. But still, then there is a leakage of revenue. So that's why two-way authentication has been made and it become the mandatory at present. So there is a process of registration. This is a recent development which made mandatory. So that we can see, but for your understanding as a level of intermediate student, so actually we can limit to our work for the preparation of invoice either in the e-portal or the outside. But for the very easiest way is there is a Excel file is available. You can download because the portal could not support in the first when I log on to the portal. So that's why I could not in a position to show you that. But I can tell you that I am just uploading one Excel file which I downloaded and kept in my portal as I remember. Just wait for 1-2 minutes. So that file I am uploading. You just I will explain you. That is the easiest mode of doing it. Just 1 minute. I think this file is available to you. Hello, madam, can you confirm this file is visible? Hello, hello, hello. Not available. I don't know what is the problem. Madam, this file is available. That's I'm telling. That's actually somebody told not visible. But one Excel file I have put in the portal. Visible. Okay. Okay. Actually, okay. Just you wait. I will take 5 minutes for this one, but I will present one. I just as one file, so which I will explain to them. Then we will close it. Okay. Okay. Friends, just this is a file which is available in the portal. You can download it. This is the JSON file, JSON preparation form A, where you can enter everything. This is the Excel file, and you can do somewhere and import also. You see, this is the details has been given. How to prepare it. Actually, there is a security in my laptop, so that's why it is restricting to do it. But we can also see everything. This is the profile. I think in the my previous video it was also showing that where all the details you have to give: seller's GSTIN, seller's address, state, email ID, legal name, seller's address to pin code, trade name. All these things you will give. After that, you see this it was shown to you in the that particular video. So if you do not want any of the table, you can also close it, yes or no, so that it will not reflected in the invoice sheet. It will not reflected here. This is the invoice
Hello,
system.
sir.
Yes.
Yeah, sir. Actually, you are not sharing the Excel file. That time that was visible.
Actually, I'm sharing. I think it is disconnected. Some
No, sir.
maybe
Actually, the
some.
entire screen was shared. So once you open the Excel file, it will be visible to the student.
Actually, I opened it. I don't know what is the problem.
Yes, sir. It's visible now.
I was showing you to one of the video where the this Excel file contents has been very nicely explained. But I wanted to tell you that the easiest mode is to download the this Excel file. The file name is JSON preparation form A. That is also form B is there. The difference is one is for bulk invoicing system, one is less than that we can utilize. The contents is there. It is given, you can read it also to have some idea. Then the profile section, as already explained to you, give the details of the seller, because seller is preparing the invoice. The invoice is not to be prepared by the buyer or the recipient, except the seller. Nobody can do. But in case of e-way bill, anybody can do it. That means the recipient can also generate, and the truck driver also can generate, or the seller can generate. That is a part A, part B, that we will discuss. So after filling this, then it will go down. So in that case, already I told the invoice file which is there, this is the invoice contents. So here you can restrict it. So just like your income tax, you might have seen many of the deductions are not available to you. So you don't tick it, so that it will not shown in the return to filled up. Similarly, if you have reverse charge, you make it no. If you make it no, then the invoice it will not shown. This reverse charge will not be shown, table will not be shown, so that it will become easy for your filing. Similarly, you have to e-commerce operator, dispatch from transaction details. So whatever all the portfolios there, that accordingly you can go profile are there. Accordingly you can mention yes or no. The moment you will put yes, everything will appear. If the where you will put no, then it will not appear. And then you have to go to the invoice. You have to fill up it. So there is some cases you have fill up already. This has been explained. B2B. Export, different types of transactions have to fill up, reverse charge, e-commerce. I think it is already explained. Only I am showing that this file is very nicely available. You can bring it and do it. Then there is a different codes, master codes are there. Actually, this is not in use. Actually, this sheet is very important, but sometimes this code is very required. Suppose you are making export, so which country you are exporting? So accordingly, the codes are there. These codes has been given. Different codes are very long list of codes are there. For the reference you can go for. So similarly, sample invoice. This is sample invoice. I think sample invoice we have not seen. This is a sample invoice, you see. So once you create the details, then it will be appear like this. Here, I think in the video it was showing 2 samples, but here it is showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 6. So that is there. All the relevant period, since it is reverse as no, e-commerce is not applicable. All the items it has been shown. You see here one of the item that is very important for you. Here you can scroll it. You see which state and what is the item, product item, what is the HSN code that is there, and what is the quantity, what is the free quantity also you have to mention. What is the, because free quantity means if you will not mention, then while you are carrying in the transport case e-way bill, it will not be reflect, and anybody can check it and they can point out that's a free quantity you have to mention. Unit you have to mention, unit rate, gross amount, discount, taxable value, GST rate you have to put which is IGST or CGST or OGST, because the 2 states it is IGST is appeared. Otherwise you have to put CGST or SGST if you interested. And the compensation says, suppose coal supply is there, you are selling coal, then the compensation says will come. Or other vehicle you are selling, compensation says will come. So that's why it depends upon the nature of commodity. So batch name, expiry date, one in date, these are additionals. If you want to put it will put taxable value. So after that it will come, all the details will come, shipping bill in case of export, port, refund claim. Also all the details, whatever, many of the details may not be required, that also be taken into consideration. And these are the explaining. I think already it explained single was city, 2 was city, 5 was city, depending upon you can use format A, format B. So we are talking about format A. So format B can be used. There is another similar file is there. These are the schema. So schema is not required to be go. Validation is very important, because any file will come unless you validate it cannot be going to be converted to a JSON file. So validation, just I wanted to show you. This is validation. The moment will validation will put, if there is a, suppose you put the invoice, there is a mistake or the error. We will not talk it a mistake, we can say it is error. So automatically it will show as error. So accordingly, by clicking error, it will navigate to that place and you can make a correction. So there may be many errors may be found. So if the error will be found, then it will cannot be completed. So that is very important. And after that, once the error is over, validation is completed, then you have to go. It will you have to convert to the JSON file, because the JSON the file only will be uploaded in the portal. I think in that first video clip it was explained everything, so that you can go. Another point just I wanted to tell you. These are the additional points given. FAQ is given, and you can also go forward to understand what to do. So this is the file generally has been used. Friends, as already I told you, whatever e-invoices will be raised and the supply has been completed. So in the month, every month, actually every month it is required to file GSTR 1, and there is certain cases also quarterly return can be filed, but the tax has been paid monthly. So monthly tax payment, quarterly return filing possibility is there for the few of the taxpayers, but the very common is GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B. Actually, I have another file also, but that I am not discussing because already we are consuming more time. So let us go to the GSTR 1, because it will not be completed in next class. So GSTR 1 just I am showing you. Just give me 1-2 minutes. Madam, is it visible? Hello?
Yes, sir, it's visible. Like,
Okay.
like MS Team is visible. You have
Image,
shared the MS Teams.
file is not visible,
No, sir.
but I link the file. I don't know today what is the problem.
Yes, sir, it's visible now.
Visible, huh? It is taking
Yeah.
more time, I think. So
Oh,
just I'm showing you because already I told you after creation of invoice, so let goods has been
yeah.
supplied. So we are going to file
So
a
again,
the,
MS Teams is visible. Like,
actually I don't know what is the problem.
just stay in the file.
Actually I am staying in the file.
You're in
I'm
the
not
file now.
yes, I am in the file now.
Okay.
Let I'm making deleting all other file, keeping only the this file. Let us see once again. I think some net problem or something.
Yes,
Never
sir, right now it's visible. The file is visible. Like the
been.
Chrome or something. Again, MS Teams. Hi, Rama.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. Is it visible?
No MS Teams. Yeah, right now the file is visible. I can see the file.
You can see the file, eh?
Yeah,
Okay. I can go forward.
MS Teams.
The problem. Let us. I will stop everything. Going to all file I am closing. Okay.
Okay,
Only
fine, sir.
one file I am opening. But I don't know what is the problem here. It's a bulkiness of file may be the reason. Just 1 minute. I'm
Hmm.
trying once again.
Yes, sir.
Because these are types of voluminous. The video clips are not available. So only
Hmm.
I think it's visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible now.
Okay, thank you. You see, this is the file format where the return has been filed. The exactly what you will find in this manual, exactly the same thing we can go to see in the portal. You see, this portal has consist of login and navigate to the form GSTR1. GSTR1 is the outward supply. In the outward supply, all the outward supplies, debit notes, credit notes, and any tax you paid on advances or any refunds, any adjustments, everything will be shown. There are steps we have to go for how to download and how to view it, how to fill up it entirely. We'll go for the discussion. Exactly, it is portal like this. This is your portal. You will go to services, then you go to returns, then you go to return dashboard. Actually, this will not be shown unless you enter to by putting the login. So that's why I could not use anybody's login. So this is the our GSTN portal, and you will go to the services. Then in services, different icons are there. Then you will go to the return. Then you will go to return dashboard. So then on return dashboard, your return will come. This will come. So you have to mention which year, later 2025, 26. Then which quarter? It is a quarterly return is showing, but you can show monthly. Sorry, you can show quarterly, but again you will come to the period. So let us take a third quarter December. So I have gone it. Then after that, once you search it, then it will come. This will come. So there are different parts are there. So one is the details of outward supply. So you prepare online or prepare offline. I told you, if you have already downloaded the Excel sheet, then you can go for the offline. You already prepared, then you come here. But if you prepare online, just put it online. And if you auto drafted, already I told just a 2A, 2B, 2A is the ITC. So it will show here, but we will go for the online preparation. In the online preparation, just to see these are sub items are there. So where all the details will be given. So these details, if you click, then you will go one by one to fill up it. It is given step to file register one summary. So where the um, already I told the e-invoices, if you prepared, then auto populated here because of e-invoice. If invoice you are not preparing, you have to enter one by one. And if you go one by one, so these are very important. Actually, there are different tables are there. 4A, 4B, 4C, 6B, 6C. These are two B2B invoices. Already I told there are two types of invoices used. Two B2B, business to business, business to consumer. And 6A is export incentives. 9B is the credit debit notes. Then 9B is the similarly credit debit notes on the registered dealer. So that has been categorized to fill up it. Actually, this table is very small. That's why it is not visible. But if you go to the portal, it will show in a very bold way. It will boldly show. I have a small video clip also. I'll use it in the last. You can also see. These are the details of outer supply. So you in the details, you have to mention the figures. You can add the records details, whatever is there. You can here it is given that B2B invoice. It is given that B2B B2C invoices large invoice. You can also mention export incentives. You can also make the B2C others. So these are categorized, it will be reflected. So that will not go very. You see, amend your records. Suppose sometimes you download, uploaded it. After that, you found there is some amendment. You can also make the amendment here. Then you can go for just will see if item wise come. If it will come bold, then it will be much better. This will be coming faster. Let as it is showing more prominent rather than previous one. It will come. You see, this is showing this amendment record showing. These are the category which you have to go. Actually, 11A is showing the amended tax liability, advance received and a tax liability payment. And already I told you, once you receive the advance, subsequently you raise the tax invoice, it will be adjusted here only because there is no requirement of further payment. And these are invoices you can download and keep it. So once the invoice download history, you can also see here. This is the invoice download history where you can see file 1, file 2, the date, etc. Everything will be you are finding here. And these are the this is the file actually you kept in the worksheet which you are going to download. This is the invoice auto populated. Actually, in the GSTR, this is the financial year. This has been auto populated. Invoice number, invoice date, invoice value, place, reverse charge, everything is auto populated. Total value will come into the invoice. Item wise, it will not come. There is one. These are document details are there. It's very. If you want, you can also download the file and see it because it's a very lengthy file, but it is not visible actually, but not visible properly. A large file, but not visible. These are actually tables where you can reflect it. Friends, actually, this is not visible to you. It is also not visible to me. Rather, I will show here. Actually, these are the theories where they explain. Just come to the here. It will be much better here. This is your register one form. So whatever records of the e-invoices, etc., has been uploaded, and after verifying if any correction you made, subsequently you uploaded it, then automatically this will be generated. Register one will be generated. So this is the figures has been put in the here. That's the table 1, 2, it is there, but table 4 contains outward supplies. You just see taxable outward supplies made to registered person other than reverse charge, including supplies made through e-commerce operator attracting TCS, that is B2B supply. So here the number of records. Suppose in a month you have 100 records, so it will show 100 invoices. Type invoices. If debit note, it will show debit note, credit note, because there is another table is there where you can see here the total taxable value, IGST, CGST or SGST or cess, it will be reflected here. Similarly, 4B table, it talks about taxable outward supply made to registered person attract tax on reverse charge, B2B reverse charge. Taxable outward supply interstate supplies made to unregistered person, that will be shown here. You have to put it actually because unregistered person B2C invoices you raised. Exports, so that you have to show export all the details here. Automatically, actually, once you uploaded the file, automatically it will be reflected here. This form, it is not required to fill up item wise because it will not allow you to fill up. So whatever the Excel sheet you uploaded in the portal, the outcome of the Excel sheet will be reflected here. Then you verify whether it is correct or not. Then DME export. So these are the taxable value has been taken. Then your newly rated outward supply. If you are supplying taxable supply, you have exempted supply, you have a nil rated supply, you have a non-GST supply. Non-GST supply means on which GST is not payable, but you are selling it. Petroleum products that you take, and electricity is exempted sale. So nil rated, sometimes the tax, if you are exporting, it is 0 rated, but if you are selling it in the inside India, then it taxable is there, but that cannot be told as nil rated, because export is having a separated row where you have to fill up. So only cases which attracted nil rated, that can be taken here. Then amendment, if any made previous year or some invoices you are making amendment. So amendment, already I told, there is a GSTR 1A where the amendment can be taken place. Any invoice you entered subsequently amended, so automatically amended invoice will come here. And then your interested supplies made to unregistered dealer. These are amendments. Actually 9A, all are 9A. That is the amendment is the outward supply, registered person, reverse charge, unregistered person, exports. So all are categorical amendments will come. So any amendment will be made, then your whatever has been shown in the table 4, and any amendment made, then it will be added or it will be abstracted. So amendment may be increase in value or decrease in value, that will be shown here. Then your total net debit or credit notes, whatever you put it, it will come. Actually, debit credit notes sometimes also you can manually put it. This will be shown here, because we have to arrive at the total value. These are amended debit notes, credit notes. Same item wise amendments are there. This is the advances on which you receive the money, and now you are liable to pay tax. That is only in case of service. So categorize it will be shown here. HSN summary, that is very important. HSN summary means HSN wise summary of outward supply, the details you have to give here. So net taxable value, that will be given. Supply made through e-commerce operator, if not applicable, it is not required, but you have to give it. Then all the details amendments you have to give it. Then the section 9.5 is the e-commerce operator transactions, that has to be given. And then you have to verify. Actually, verify in the portal itself, you will go for the verification. So there is no requirement of going verification one by one, but in the portal you have to make authentication by using your DSC or by EBC. So that you can go for. And key my master, that I am not going for the user services. Actually, this we are not going to discuss. I am adding one small video I have, just I remember, that will give you more details, because this is showing very small figure and many of the figures has not been shown. Just to see. Just one, my WhatsApp, it is there.
Return.
Friends, I think a small video, but it will give some input. Just have a look. I think it is.
अगर आपको GST R1 नील फाइल करना है तो सबसे पहले रिटर्न टू डैशबोर्ड पे आएंगे। यहाँ पे आपको फाइनेंशियल ईयर, क्वार्टर और मंथ सेलेक्ट करना होगा। करने के बाद आपको सर्च का ऑप्शन मिलेगा। सर्च करने के बाद
I think it's not
GST R1 पे क्लिक करेंगे। GST R1 पे जैसे ही क्लिकेंगे, वहाँ पे फाइल नील GST R1 पे क्लिक करेंगे। अगर आपका सेल 0 है तो इस पे क्लिक करने का फाइल स्टेटस, और यहाँ पे ईयर वाई पे सिलेक्ट करके यहाँ पे अथॉरिटी को सिलेक्ट करेंगे जिनके पे OTP आएगा और EBC थ्रू OTP मंगाएंगे और यहाँ पे आप OTP डाल देंगे और आपका GST R1 नील फाइल हो जाएगा। थैंक यू। लाइक और सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा।
Just I will try to show you if I will found any good videos. I will show you. Already I clarified you that a few cases it very difficult to show you because we cannot enter to the anybody's portal to use it because many of things only can be possible by entering to the portal. It is the comparisons to the income tax. If we see the transaction based videos etc. Only if you enter to the portal is possible to show you in the individual cases. I'm talking assessee cases, but still then I will see today we can close here. Next class I will try to again repeat it GSTR 1 3B 99C and EOE bill 1 or 2 videos that I can share you. Sorry for some inconvenience, it is beyond my control, maybe due to volume or due to the internet problem today we faced. But the last class it was very fine where we can see everything very comfortably, but this it is not possible. Thank you very much. That is actually on 1A is also there, but this is not, time is over, we can see in the next class. Thank you very much. Madam, we can close. Hello? 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 I will just take out any question answer is there. Just we'll see. Anybody has any question? Our students has no patience actually. Okay. Madam, I am ending. Thank you very much. I'm leaving.